seashell by the she sells seashells by the seashore. There we go. Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Catelyn. This video is a viewer requested video. I was asked by you guys to make a video on how to analyze literary elements in a text. Now, you came to the right place because I was awesome at this in high school, and if I do say so myself, I think I've just gotten even better over time. So if you want to learn how to be great at this, then keep on watching. In this video, I will teach you guys some of the most common literary techniques and give you some examples of them as well so you can see them in action. On the subject of literary techniques, I also have a video about figures of speech, which are also commonly used as literary techniques. So I haven't included the ones that I talked about in that video here because I didn't want to repeat myself, but if you are watching this video, it's also worth going to watch that one. I have left the link to that down in the description box below. Before I teach you guys some literary techniques, let's first find out what a literary technique is. Well, these are techniques that authors use to help them convey meaning and theme in their writing. What is a theme? A theme is the underlying message or moral that the author wants to tell us. That could be something about society, or it could be about an idea like love or evil. No matter the underlying theme, literary techniques help authors convey that message to us. So now let's learn some of those techniques so we can spot them when we're reading. Our first literary technique is imagery. Imagery is a very commonly used technique. Imagery is when the author will use highly descriptive words to engage your five senses and deepen your understanding of a certain point in a text. By your five senses, I mean that the author might describe what to see, hear, smell, touch, and taste. An example of imagery in Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling is "A breeze ruffled the neat hedges of Pivot Drive, which lay silent and tidy under the inky sky, the very last place that you would expect astonishing things to happen." In this sentence, J.K. Rowling uses descriptive words like neat, tidy, inky, and silent to tell us what to see and hear. This is how J.K. Rowling uses imagery to paint a picture of the scene and make us feel more connected with the story. Our second literary technique is a motif. These are very, very useful to writers, and they can be a little bit tricky to spot when we're reading, so we have to pay quite close attention. A motif is something that repeats many times throughout a story, and it normally symbolizes something deeper. For example, in Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven itself is a motif, and it symbolizes the deeper meaning of decay or death. Our next one, a symbol, is very similar to a motif. Just like a motif, it could be anything, a place, a person, a word, a phrase, a shape, a color, as long as it symbolizes a deeper meaning. For example, a love heart. That's just a shape, but it symbolizes love. And the color red, that's just a color, but sometimes it symbolizes anger or passion or blood. The difference between a motif and a symbol is that a motif is a repeated symbol, so it happens many times throughout a story, whereas a symbol only happens once. Next up, in number 4, we have allusion. Not to be confused with illusion. An allusion is when an author refers to the real world inside their text. They could be referring to a real person, place, or maybe even a historical event. Anything from real life. Allusions often help us draw similarities between their text and the real world. Allusions can be very direct and obvious. For example, in Moby Dick, Ishmael, one of the main characters, is a biblical allusion to Ishmael, the first son of Abraham. Or they can be a little bit more subtle and harder to spot. For example, in Lord of the Flies, the island that the boys land on is described with beautiful heavenly imagery, and so the island itself becomes an allusion for the Garden of Eden. Number 5, our second to last one, is alliteration. This is when authors use similar sounding words one after the other. For example, she sells seashells by the seashore. Finally. I retook that many times because that is a tongue twister and it is hard to say. I challenge you to do it. Tell me how it goes in the comments down below. Say, she sells seashells by the seashore. Say it 5 times fast. Anyway, she sells seashells by the seashore is a repeating S sound. Alliteration can be used by writers to give rhythm to their writing and also draw attention to a particular point. And the last one that we're talking about today is juxtaposition. This is when authors put 2 opposite ideas right next to each other. This can help us to compare and contrast the 2 things. Authors might do this for ironic or comedic effect, or maybe to highlight a particular moral or theme of the story. An example would be this line from Yellow Birds by Kevin Powers. You will soon be asked to do great violence in the cause of good. Now, violence and good are 2 very different things, but they are juxtaposed here to compare and contrast them, and also for emphasis. And those are all of the literary techniques that we're looking at today. Don't forget to go and watch my figure of speech video as well. The figures of speech that I talk about in that video are very commonly used as literary techniques as well, so you'll probably find that one helpful. If you liked this video and you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys again for requesting this video. And if there is a video that you would like to see, please tell me in the comments down below or send me a message on my Instagram and Facebook. Have an awesome day, guys. See you later.